Hey guys, welcome back to the news. A report emerged over the threats on lawmakers, how some state governors are threatening to block federal lawmakers from securing a re-election ticket in 2027 unless unless they rescind their support for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's tax reform bills currently being considered by the National Assembly. And it was said that some of these governors were threatening members from their states, that they've even gone as far as threatening that they would deny members a return ticket in 2027 if they support the bills. The lawmakers, according to them, engaged with Taiwo Oyedele, the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal and Tax Reforms, along with other tax experts to discuss these bills. The president submitted 4 tax reform proposals on September, designated to enhance the country's taxation system, including the Nigeria Tax Bill 2024 and the Tax Administration Bill. He added that at this point, nobody can stop the House of Reps members from supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's bid to reboot the economy to work for the country, that they are quite united across party lines to make sure the country works. This is the disposition of the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas. And in response to the governor's calls for withdrawal, the president has maintained that amendments can be made during the legislative process. Abbasi pointed out that the governors are strategizing against lawmakers who backed the bill, but he stressed that the House is committed to supporting initiatives that are beneficial to the economy. He also expressed optimism that the 10th Assembly would pass the bill with minor modifications, emphasizing the lawmakers' intellectual and patriotic commitment. The House has provided copies of the bill to its members for review prior to the upcoming plenary session. Other lawmakers, including Mr. Afam Ogana and Okoji, had expressed their backings for the bills, highlighting the necessity of dialogue and cooperation in the legislative process. They also encouraged their colleagues to support the reforms for a greater good of the country. My country people, a few days after this report emerged concerning governors threatening to deny federal lawmakers tickets to vie for the National Assembly seat in the 2027 general elections for supporting the tax reform bills, some certain lawmakers tend to deny these claims regarding governors threatening to deny federal lawmakers a return ticket if they do not support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's tax reform bill, that they should withdraw their support. So it was alleged by the deputy spokesman for the House of Representatives, Mr. Philip Abbasi, who made these claims that the president had transmitted 4 tax reform bills to the National Assembly following the recommendations of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal and Tax Reform headed by Taiwo, and they included the Nigeria Tax Bill 2024, which is expected to provide the fiscal framework for taxation in the country, and the Tax Administration Bill, which will provide a clear and legal framework for all taxes in the country and reduce disputes. Others are the Nigerian Revenue Service Establishment Bill, which will repeal the Federal Inland Revenue Service Act and establish the Nigeria Revenue Service, and also the Joint Revenue Board Establishment Bill, and that will create a tax tribunal. So, reacting to the tax reform proposals, the governors of the 19 northern states on October had rejected the proposed shift to a devolution-based model for value-added tax distribution, arguing that the model would put the region in a disadvantaged position compared to its southern counterpart. And a few days later, the 36 state governors rejected the bill and asked for their withdrawal to allow room for more consultation. While speaking to news reporters, a lawmaker noted that the threat against the lawmakers were actually real and that this time it has become more than a threat. But his colleagues in separate interviews are saying that the governors did not actually threaten them, that the governors were becoming advocates of the reform bills. A member representing Oboma Federal Constituency of Imo State, Mbano Chike Okafor, had noted that he is not quite aware of some governors, threatening to deny lawmakers a return ticket if they support the tax reform bill. He's not quite aware of this. So, my country people, what are your thoughts on this? Another lawmaker of the People's Democratic Party from Niger State had played down any threat from the state governors, adding that God determines who becomes a leader at any point in time. I mean, God Almighty raises men into leadership position in every nation, and dismissed any form of threat to any lawmakers on the 2027 ticket to return elected, that they are more like the people's representatives and they only do what is in the best interest of Nigeria and Nigerians. Similarly, a member of the Labour Party from Abia State, Alex Ikweche, had doubted the possibility of any governor opposed to the bill, that they are not quite aware if some governors are opposed to the bill. Meanwhile, the APC and the Labour Party lawmakers have expressed divergent views on these bills. The National Publicity Director of the APC, Bala Mohammed, argued that rather than killing the bills, the National Assembly should subject them for further consultation. An APC spokesman also frowned on the alleged threats and blackmail against the lawmakers, saying such a thing should not be entertained in our democracy. And indeed, it shouldn't be entertained in our democracy, because these are our lawmakers we are talking about. I'm dropping here, guys. Kindly share your thoughts on this in the comment section.